Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, there we go. Yay.
Perfect. How's it going?
It's all right. It's it's going.
Yeah, I can relate. It was a busy weekend. How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun?
Not My dad and my sister are um being camp counselors at a camp for adults with special needs, and so there was a lot of um like packing for it and that sort of thing. But other
Okay.
than that, not much.
Okay, good. Well, this is just a real informal meeting to kind of see how things are going, answer any questions you have, either about like last week or this upcoming week's assignments. So, how are things with the course for you?
They aren't bad. Um I I felt like an I'm trying to think of a way to word these things, but not really. I was taking the the week one quiz, and the last two questions you have are, did the videos help explain blah 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 blah? And I felt like an idiot because I was looking at it and I was like, no, I already knew this stuff more or less. So I answered no, and I got them incorrect. I was like, Melanie, you're dumb. Like, watch them, and they're meant to help. And so, so I was like, you know what, I deserve that. um, but other than that, everything's pretty good. It might be
Good.
my cat. He gets upset when he can hear me talking to people that aren't him, and I can hear him in there screaming. So
Yeah, my cat's somewhere off sleeping right now.
yeah.
So you didn't get a chance to watch the videos, or you
No,
already?
I did. I
Okay.
did. And I watched them, and they were great videos. Like, it's a good thing to watch, but it was just like, it just sounds weird to be like, I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
is great. My And this isn't, kind of to backtrack, since my mom was like, tell her hi. My mom used to work in the GA office across the hallway from you a couple years ago. Um, and she taught for years and years in Plainview, which is a really poor, very minority driven area in Wichita. We lived in Wichita, which isn't like a huge city, but it has a lot more diversity than a lot of places in Kansas do.
Mm-hmm.
And a school that was where white kids were not the majority of people that were there, and all sorts of things. So it's like I have a bit of background with that,
Oh,
uh,
good.
which is why I was like, nah. And I was like, oh, you're a dumb butt. So
No, that's a. Who is your mom?
Joe Dunlap,
Okay. Yeah, I remember
yeah,
Joe.
she
Excellent.
she was like, oh, yay, I liked her. So cats down here. Um, they Mom and my sister and my dad, since they're all teachers, have been helping me some, but not to the point of like doing my work or anything. Just more like rambling about things.
Well,
um,
good. That's nice you had that background in your family.
yes, yeah, yep,
Hmm.
lots of that background. Yeah, but otherwise things I think are going all right.
Good. Do you have any questions about the upcoming assignments?
Not that I can think of. They all sound pretty like regular kind of assignment sort of things.
Yeah,
Uh,
I try to make them super clear. They shouldn't be too hard.
right.
Have you done the voice third before? It's the only thing that's probably new this week.
I don't think so, but there's there's a possibility that I have, and I just can't remember, because my current job, well, kind of current, is that I'm a para. And so I've used a lot of, like, I had used Adobe Spark before, but I completely forgotten that I had used it. so
Okay.
kids, one of the required classes at the high school I work at is called like Radar Tech or something. It's a technology course. So there are lots of things like Adobe Spark, like Zoom and that sort of thing that I've had to learn how to use before and then just promptly forgotten that I've used them. So it's completely possible that I've used it and just don't remember. But I looked at like the web page for it, and it looks fairly easy to get a hold of, like how to use it and that sort of thing.
Yeah. One tip I would say is like maybe just create your presentation in PowerPoint and then upload it to the VoiceThread. That way it saves you a step, like in case you're creating a slide in VoiceThread and it accidentally deletes. If you have them all prepared ahead of time, just import them. It's easier to work with. And they can just do the voiceover.
That's a good tip. I will. Well, yeah, I have PowerPoint because K-State has the Office subscription. So
yeah.
That shouldn't be a problem.
Perfect. And do you have your book for your book circle?
I don't yet. I ordered a copy of it on Amazon, so because it's Amazon.
Yeah.
It should come in pretty quick. I'm a pretty fast reader.
Okay. Yeah, and this first one's just more like informative, what you're getting out of the first part. It doesn't have to be too in-depth. The second one, where you do the second half of the book, will be more detailed. So don't stress about it.
Okay, yeah.
Good. And then I'm working on getting the content video for this week uploaded and ready to go. So that should be posted this afternoon. And then the final feedback for the first couple assignments I'll also be working on this afternoon. I thought I'd get them done this weekend, but my daughter had a swim meet at City Park for the whole day, Saturday and Sunday. So it was like, it took a little more time than I anticipated since it was our home meet.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. It was pretty intense, but it was good. It was not too bad. The weather was good Saturday, nice and cloudy, and then Sunday got a little bit hotter, but it was still good.
That's good.
Yeah. We thought it might have rain. So where are you living now?
I live in Alma. It's kind of, it's in the same, like, little, not same, but it's halfway between Manhattan and Topeka.
Yeah, I have some friends who used to go dance out there, so at the dance spot. So
it's about, it's about halfway between Manhattan and Topeka. So it's just another small Kansas town. I think it was really interesting. Like when we moved here a couple years ago, and when I started working at the high school, I think what was really interesting for me was moving to an area where people were not used to any sort, not any sort, but not used to the amount of the kind of looping it back to the, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm spacing out. Looping it back to the class readings and that sort of thing, just because I can. It was really interesting to move to an area where people were not used to the large amount of diversity in opinions or socioethnic backgrounds or any of that. And I think that's probably, and it's still kind of a weird thing for me, I guess. So I think that's probably the biggest kind of, not really roadblock, but kind of thing I just have to keep in mind as I've been living here.
Yeah, they're very sheltered, not having had that exposure.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not like people aren't, it's not like they're opposed to it or anything like that. It's just that, like, grabbing something off of the cabinet, not a cabinet, a table back here. It's just nobody's really had it. There's just not, which is it's so it's interesting then that exists, because there's the military base in Junction City, and Topeka isn't super like big, but it has a lot of diversity in it because it's the So you get like this weird kind of like swath of weird, like weird white people, basically, just through the middle. Like, what is going on? So it's always interesting and good to be reminded, I think, that sort of a thing.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. When you get to different parts, it's surprising in different parts of the state where some are much more diverse than others, or some are like a dominant group than another group. And then you have smaller towns where there's not a lot of diversity.
Well, and there are small towns in the South and stuff, because the first year that we moved here, I went to a big convention in Atlanta with a big comic convention in Atlanta with some of my friends. And there are small towns in the South and in other places, I'm sure too, where there aren't any white people. So like you get the same sort of, it's really interesting how you get the same sort of kind of everybody outside of us is bad from anybody. And it's just, there's a really good Saturday Night Live sketch of Tom Hanks. It's when Tom Hanks was hosting, and it's of a bit they do called Black Jeopardy, and it's supposed to be like Jeopardy but with black people.
Yeah.
And Tom Hanks plays he has a Make America Great Again hat on, and like jean shorts and a flag shirt and all that sort of stuff, and they kind of make fun of it because he ends up answering a lot of the questions correctly. And they're all very surprised, and then they get to the subject, because it was when Black Lives Matter had a big thing, and one of the subjects is like that pops up on the Jeopardy board is lives that matter, and they're like, well, it was nice to know ya.
Yeah. Wow.
So I really like pointing people to that sketch as kind of an illustration of nobody's really different.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hey, it looks like Sydney just joined us. Hi, Sydney.
I've been trying to join you for the last 16 minutes, but my Zoom wasn't working properly for some reason.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, glad you made it. So how are things going with you, Sydney? We were just talking a little bit about the course, and then Melanie was telling me a little bit about with her experience growing up, and she lived in Wichita for a while, or near Wichita for a while, and then now is in Alma, like the differences in a lot of diversity versus very little diversity.
Okay.
Where are you, Sydney?
Where am I right now?
Well, like, where are you living?
Okay, yeah, I'm living in Wamego. Like 15 minutes away from.
Yeah, you're like 10 minutes down the road.
Pretty much, but I decided to do it online anyway because I'm a stay-at-home mom. So
yeah,
it's really just nice to be able to, raise my kids still. And
yeah, no, for sure.
Good. Well, how is the class going for you, Sydney? Any questions on like stuff we covered last week, or where we're going this week with any of the assignments?
I'm getting a hold of it, so I don't think I have any questions. I probably will once I read over this week's assignments more in detail and everything. We took a trip to Omaha this past weekend, so I've kind of shut down all school stuff, and now I'm getting back into it.
Okay, no, that's good. I was telling Melanie I was also really busy this last weekend. We had a swim meet here in Manhattan, my daughter's home team. So it's super busy. So yeah, I'm trying to jump back into stuff too. The video is processing now for week 2. I'll get that posted this afternoon, the content video. And then I'll finish out the feedback today too on week 1's assignments. So you guys will have that. But
I was wondering when those would be graded.
Yeah. So I did get a few of them, but not all of them done. So I'll get those done here today. One thing I was going to tell you guys, I gave the tip to Melanie for the upcoming assignment on your historical figure, event, or law. So using VoiceThread, a good way to do that to kind of make sure you don't lose anything as you're working in VoiceThread is to create your PowerPoint presentation just outside of that application. Just use regular PowerPoint, come up with your slides, and then import them into VoiceThread and just kind of talk us through, like do like a mini presentation on what it is that you're covering.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. So when you import it, you'll have all your slides and there's just a record button. You just hit record and kind of talk us through it. What you learned and implications. There's like bullet points that specifically say what I'm looking for in that assignment.
I've never used VoiceThread before, so I didn't use the Adobe Spark I hadn't used that before either. I really liked that one though. It took me a second to figure it out, but I think it turned out okay.
Yeah, it's a nice little application, and Melanie was saying she's actually used it in her para work at the high school there. So she's forgotten about it, but it's actually something that students are using in schools. So that's why I like using that one.
It was good. I showed my husband my video, and he goes, "Wow, that looks like really professional." I was like, "Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool."
It's like, yes, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, and then VoiceThread I think is really nice too, because you can have that presentation and then like informally talk someone through it. If you do like a project later on with it too, you can actually have two students working on VoiceThread at the same time. Like they can both be putting their voices in and talking on the slides. So that's kind of nice too. I think it's a great app for that.
Okay.
So yeah. I like the things in the wall. It's very nice. Your collage.
Oh, thank you.
I decided I film from the kitchen today because my living room's a mess.
That's what you can't see all of the kids' toys that are on the other side of the couch. So just, you're not allowed to see the floor right now. But other than that,
yeah, exactly.
And everything else is a mess except for this one area. I'm not moving my screen though.
That's all right. I can relate. Yeah, I like tilted up a little. I did wash the dishes today, but
There you
that's
go.
about all I managed this morning and made pancakes for my daughter.
Hey, that's a good start.
Yes, exactly. So, other questions at this point?
I don't think so. I'm getting ready to start my book. It just got in actually right before I left for our trip to Omaha this weekend. So I didn't get a chance to start it this weekend, but I'm going to start it today. I haven't really read over it, but what exactly are we doing with the book report kind of thing?
So you're going to do it in two parts. So the first half is really more informal, like this is what my book is about, and here's a couple of things I've taken away from the first half. It's really simple. You're just creating a presentation. For the book circles, you don't have to do audio though. You're just doing the slides. And you have different formats you can choose from. Like you can use Google Slides. You can use Prezi. eMaze is kind of like PowerPoint. It's just a little fancier version of it. And then probably the two most different apps you can use are Haiku Deck and Sway. They're more like scrolling presentations. So you can add in pictures and your text. They're kind of a nice format. Again, these are all apps that are being used in different schools. So I wanted you to get familiar with what students might be using when you get into the classroom. You only have to choose 2 of the 5 because you're only doing 2 book circle presentations. So, but I would encourage you to like stretch outside your comfort zone. If you've done Google Slides before, try maybe eMaze or Prezi, something different, so that you get familiar with some of those apps that students might be using.
And all of these are listed in the...
Yeah, and there are tutorials for all of them in the handout too. So kind of like with the Adobe Spark, if you're not familiar, you can do a quick tutorial on it. They're all pretty user-friendly and they're all free. Make sure you do the free version of it. I think Prezi has a paid version and a free version. Just use the free version.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so the first one's real informal. It's only like 5 slides, I think, and your intro slides. So just kind of what you've taken away and some of the key things about the book, just so we get a sense of what your book's about. And then the second one will have a little bit more detail and kind of what you took away and how you can apply information from the book. So the directions for that will be posted on Friday because that's not due till next week.
Okay. Is there a specific amount of pages for each book that we're supposed to read listed somewhere?
No, you just go ahead based on your book, kind of find a halfway point. Like say you have 10 chapters, I would just do 5 and 5. But if you have like 13 chapters, maybe do like 6 the first time and then, 7 the second. Just what you figure is kind of a good divide. It doesn't have to be like exactly, like if you're in the middle of the chapter, I would just finish out the chapter.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that was a good question. I know that some people are stressed about their books are coming in this week. So yeah, the first one's not a stressful assignment. It's just really to introduce us to your book and get us familiar with it.
I stress really easily, so everything is me out. I'm trying to figure it out best I can.
Yeah, I know it's hard to when you're online. It's like, oh my gosh, did I understand this right? But I try to make everything super clear and like the rubrics. As long as you're following the rubric, just double check it. You'll be good to go.
All right. Yep.
Yeah. Anything else you can think of? Like these is really a chance for you guys to ask questions. It's an informal. The Zoom sessions really aren't about like teaching you something because that's what the content videos are about. But other questions you can think of?
I thought I was going to hiccup there for a minute.
I don't
Figure
think I have any
My
more.
book was shipped or not yet. So that's why I have all these weird looks on my face.
No, that's okay. And there's only a couple of you on right now. I'll do another session tonight. So if you think of questions, want to jump back in, ask any questions after you had a chance to look over assignment more in detail, feel free. I'll post this recording so people can hear the tips I gave you.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I'll have the content video posted today for week 2, along with the rest of the feedback. So for the first week's assignments. Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm excited. I'm glad you guys sounds like liking the class okay so far?
Yeah.
Yep, getting used to it. Yep.
Good. Yeah, this one at least we have 4 weeks. I just finished a 3-week master's level course online. That was intense. So at least we have an extra week for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I could. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had 180 in that course. So I was like, no.
Oh
But
my goodness.
yeah, but thankfully I had TAs to help with the grading of it. But it was fast and furious, that's for sure.
That's a stressful 3 weeks. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it was. It was like, and then right after I literally finished classes Friday and then started teaching Monday, a 3-week class. So it was pretty intense. But I'm really enjoying this one. It's a slower pace, and there are only 19 of you guys, I think, for this class. So that's good.
Yeah, because there were, on the book sign up thing, there were 8 and 8. So
Yeah. So yeah, as you get into it, just let me know if you have questions. You can always shoot me an email too, or post something in the chat room. I'll keep checking that and posting announcements for you as they come up. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base and make sure things are going well.
Yeah, fairly well.
Good.
Woohoo.
All right. Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah. Okay. Well, I will let you guys go. But like I said, I'll have you on again tonight if you think of any other questions, or just shoot me an email or a chat, and we will be set to go.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you later. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.